The gates, the pipes, the drums, the martial trumpets call. Tonight, I open up my doors. My walls belong to you. My stirring pageant now begins. The Edinburgh Tattoo.
The pipes and drums.
Hello and welcome to Edinburgh with the prologue and fanfare Voice of the Castle. In 1949, a small military display was given on the castle esplanade of Edinburgh Castle during the 3rd Edinburgh International Festival. Tonight, 35 years later, before an audience of up to 9,000 in the stands to the north, south and east. A familiar beginning to the Edinburgh military tattoo of 1984. The entry across the drawbridge of the massed pipes and drums of 2 Scottish regiments, 2 RAF stations in Scotland, the Scottish University's Officers Training Corps, and a police pipe band from Tasmania. They enter playing the traditional march, Macpherson's Lament. The senior pipe major is Pipe Major Johnston of the Argylls. The senior drum major is Drum Major Finney, Queen's Own Highlanders. The pipes and drums of the 1st Battalion, Queen's Own Highlanders, Seaforth, Camerons, in the deep red Cameron of Eric tartan. The 1st Battalion, the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, with the dark green kilts in the Sutherland set of the government tartan. 6 tassels on their sporrans. The pipe band of RAF lookers in doublets of Air Force blue, kilts of red McGregor tartan, of RAF Kinloss in ancient Sutherland tartan, the pipes and drums from 6 Scottish University OTC units in Hunting Stewart and Mackenzie tartans, and from down under in the feather bonnets with white hackles and white cross belts, and in kilts of Fletcher, of Denane's tartan, the Tasmania Police Pipe Band. They're playing now the tune Lady Dorothea Stuart Murray. Drum Major Finney gives the word of command, and the pipes and drums now move into a figure-of-8 formation with a set of 2 strathspeys, slow air, and reel, to the tune, Portree Bay. The strathspey is Lady Mackenzie of Gairloch. The slow air, Brentwood Bay. Another strathspey with right bonny strathspey name, o'er the bows to Ballindalla. Reel is the Princess of Wales. This program of pipe music is under the direction of Captain John Allen, Queen's Own Highlanders, Director, Army Bagpipe Music. The Army School of Piping is, of course, here in Edinburgh Castle. And the pipes and drums reform to the tune, The Portree Men. And they will march on to the tune, Captain Oldfield's Welcome to Kilrock. Ever popular, the music of 100 pipers and drummers, some of whom have come all the way from their lovely island home down under, Tasmania, to be here in Scotland tonight. Since March 1964, 20 years ago, the beautiful festival cities of Edinburgh and Florence have been twinned. Now, from a district on the outskirts of Edinburgh's twin city in Italy, come these flag wavers, a team formed in 1967 to preserve some of the medieval skills of the Florentine Renaissance. Flags, along a symbol of identification, have also been used with the beat of drums for the communication of commands and the transmission of signals on the field of battle. The austere military discipline and the intricate succession of movements have become, as you can see, an art form. Display of agility of eye and limb on Edinburgh's windy Castle Hill. The singolo, or solo performance, shows the flag waver's quick-thinking ability to protect his flag from the grasp of an enemy. And it'd be a good signing for a Scottish Premier League football club. The copia, or couple, shows the flag waver's skill at passing their flag to a comrade beyond the immediate stramash of the struggle. The flags suddenly become kites that fly through the air. Now, when the whole team perform the squadra, they are celebrating victory after battle. And the tune that you will hear the trumpets, the drums play is Victory Hymn. of trumpet and the beat of drum. A warm welcome on their first visit to the Edinburgh Military Tattoo for the Sbandieratori from Florence. The 60-strong trumpet band of the Junior Leaders Regiment Royal Artillery in the 19th century full-dress uniform of the Royal Horse Artillery. Busbies, white plumes, red busby bags, dark blue tunics, collared in scarlet and faced with gold. The band was formed at Woolwich as the Boys' Royal Artillery Band just before the 39-45 war. It was re-established after the war, becoming part of the Junior Leaders Regiment on its formation in 1957. The musical training is all done in the boys' spare time. And they are playing, appropriately, the gunner.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Army champions, the Junior Leaders Regiment Royal Artillery Gymnastic Display Team.
Junior Leaders Regiment trains the future senior NCOs and warrant officers of the Royal Artillery. Young men between the ages of 16 and a half and 17 and a half for a year. And a good third of their training is in outdoor activities and sport. The gymnastic team here train for 6 months. And all these young men are at the end of their training with the Junior Leaders Regiment and are about to become fully-fledged gunners. The fitness and ability are not in question, but it takes the added qualities of courage, adaptation, and dedication to judge distance and balance accurately on an esplanade that slopes 14 feet from the castle gates to the top of the Royal Mile.
An important aspect of gymnastics is the art of balancing, and the team will now superimpose a crown of balancers through which they will exercise.
And the music is the Spanish gypsy dance.
Did anyone pick out a budding Daley Thompson, who I'll remind you, ladies and gentlemen, had a Scottish mother? It's hard to believe, but these lads are not professionals. None of these young men have been in the army for more than a year, and all of them are about 17 years old. They achieve this standard in their spare time, and so do the drummers. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, one of the few gymnastic teams to go through a flaming hoop. Daring and dangerous through the ring of fire.
Warm applause for the smart young men of the Junior Leaders Regiment Royal Artillery and Instructor Warrant Officer Christie. Now, accompanied by the pipes and drums of the Officers' Training Corps at the Scottish Universities, a new country dance created this year by Roger and Noel Blackwood. The music composed by Pipe Major Bert Baron, B.E.M. It's called the Dance of the Scottish University's Officers' Training Corps. And it's danced by students from Aberdeen, Edinburgh and Heriot-Watt universities, and from Glasgow, Strathclyde and Tayforth, that is, Dundee, Stirling and St Andrews. The girls' dresses have been specially designed by Joan Dow, the wife of the tattoo's producer, Lieutenant Colonel Leslie Dow, OBE. sloping concrete esplanade is not the springiest of dance floors. Dance of the Scottish University's Officers Training Corps. Now, on an August evening in old Scotland, as across a sea of sun-baked sand from the Sultanate of Oman at the southeastern extremity of the Arabian Peninsula, the distinctive music of another proud, independent people, Ya Allah Talabtoka. The 150 musicians of the royal band of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said came to the throne of Oman 14 years ago. The musicians are descended from the East African bodyguard, once maintained by his predecessors as sultans. The headcloth is worn as a turban. The coats are in the green of the royal household, maroon trousers, crimson and gold waistband, in which is placed the khanjar, a curved knife in the shape of a letter J. The Omani equivalent of a Highland dirk. And this tune, as the musicians move out into circles, is called Lady's Mask. Pipers have pipe bags of the Douglas type, a tribute to a famous Scottish regiment, the Cameronians, Scottish Rifles, the last regular battalion of which was disbanded in 1968. And it was then commanded by Colonel Dow, whose voice you will hear often in the course of this tattoo on the public address speakers. The present Sultan of Oman once served as an officer in the Cameronians. The pipers play the old rugged cross. Hootenanny. drum rolls leading in to the march, Stirling Castle, the regimental headquarters of the Argylls, and the director of music of the Royal Band South of His Majesty the Sultan of Oman, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Crichton, served once with the Argylls. And he is assisted in training this band by Pipe Major George Johnston, formerly Scots Guards, and Drum Major Mike Monaghan, formerly Drum Major Queen's Own Highlanders. The arena lights dim to show a gyration of tiny lights worn in each musician's headcloth. Music is the little bugler, and the band march now at the old Cameronian Scottish Rifles marching pace of 140 paces to the minute. Made lots of friends in Edinburgh when the band of the Royal Guard visited the tattoo 4 years ago. Now you will see, as the circle slowly unwinds, that the lights will be formed into letters. 4 letters. These 4 letters spell out the name of this friendly state, almost unknown 20 years ago, before the wise exploitation of its oil reserves and the building of hospitals and schools and factories brought it quickly into the 20th century. State from which these musicians come is, of course, Oman. With the Royal Band South of His Majesty the Sultan of Oman are these 28 dancers from the Rubat Palace School. They're all 18 years old, and they dance now an ancient Omani traditional dance, not often seen in the West, and called al-Raboba. See in the waistband the khanjar, or curved silver knife. Happy faces and happy performers from the Sultanate of Oman.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, a change of pace. FH 70.
40 Field Regiment Royal Artillery recruit in Edinburgh and Lowland Scotland and are known as the Lowland Gunners. From 38 Seringapatam Field Battery, part of that regiment, come the latest field howitzer guns and their crews in a competition introduced by the tattoo's producer, Lieutenant Colonel Dow.
And now we will see those two great guns from 38 Seringapatam Field Battery, Royal Artillery, race into action at positions being shown by these two gunners. And now let's support them, ladies and gentlemen. On the right, here as Princess Street, is Alpha, commanded by Sergeant Ian Williams, and on the left, nearest England, Charlie, commanded by Bombardier Nick Carter. The first gun that fires is the winner. So cheer on your own side, ladies and gentlemen, and east stand, you cheer them both. Cheer them on. That's it. Those kitted, 2.5 tons each they weigh. Barrels elevating now. Nothing in it. Cheer them on, ladies and gentlemen. They want your help. They manage without it, but that's it. All helps them along. Very close. Splitting the trails, as it's called. Charge going into the breach. Any second now. Yes, Alpha the winner tonight. In 59 seconds, that equals the record. And now let's see how quickly they come out of action and are towed by their Foden trucks out of the arena. and down to Parliament Square, near the head office of the Bank of Scotland, who've done so much for this tattoo. And here come now the Bowdens, great beasts. There you see the Bowdens now backing to hook up with their guns. Not as easy as it looks, ladies and gentlemen. The drivers can't see the connection. And it's even more difficult for them than for the many men amongst us who back our cars onto our caravans and get close to the divorce court with the misdirections of our wives. But there they are. They both seem to have done it, and both crews now running very fast to get in and be ready to leave the arena. Fully out of action. I think it looks as if Charlie are getting their revenge. We'll see. There'll be a head through the hatch in a second. No, Alpha's done it again. Well done, Alpha. Hard luck, Charlie. Nearly there. 1 minute, 8 seconds. Very good time for getting out of action. And here they come down the arena. And a salute from soldiers who know exactly what they're doing with those great guns.
The masked military band. The military band of the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, nearest to us. 6 tassels on the Spartan there, and beside them, military band of the Queen's Own Highlanders, Seaforths and Camels. Then in blue tunics with red plumes in their busbies, the Royal Artillery Mounted Band, origins that go back for 237 years, and a story that sadly comes to an end because of cuts in 6 months' time. Centre, in scarlet tunics and bearskins, the regimental band, Scots Guards. They're playing Pentland Hill, a medley of Scottish tunes by Major James Howe, late Scots Guards, including Duncan Gray, Rowntree, and John Anderson.
A tribute to Torville and Dean.
There had already been 9 military tattoos at Edinburgh before Jane Torville and Christopher Dean were born. Since then, these 2 26-year-olds have been acclaimed the greatest ice dancers the world has known. Olympic champions at JLRRA this spring, and later in Ottawa, for the 4th successive time, they became champions of the world. The music played by the massed bands is Capriccio Espagnol. Drum Major Jason, Scots Guards, give us a command. And the bands will now reform to Voice of the Guns, written by Kenneth Orton, who was a former bandmaster of the Argylls. The Tattoo's director of music this year is Major Donald Carson, MBE, Scots Guards. He joined the Army 34 years ago, held appointments as bandmaster with the Highland Brigade and Scottish Division, was commissioned in 1975, and was appointed director of music, Scots Guards, in April of this year. In 1870, in a modest terraced house at Portobello, about 3 miles from the castle here, the great Scots entertainer Harry Lauder was born. He gave up his job as a coal miner to tour the music halls of Britain and the vaudevilles of the world. In 1919, he became the first music hall star to be knighted. Then in 1927, he received the freedom of his native city, Edinburgh. And now he's remembered not so much as a couthie Scots comic, but as a composer of songs loved still the world over. Just a wee chuckle Doris, It's Nice to Get Up in the Morning, and Roman in the Gloaming. The pipes and drums now join the massed military bands as they play another famous Lauder song,
Your feet, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop Your Tickling Job.
Now let's put it all together.
And to Harry Lauder's I Love a Lassie, the Royal Band South of His Majesty the Sultan of Oman joins the finale. Dancers at the Scottish University's OTCs, girls wearing capes of Edinburgh tattoo top. Gymnasts of the Junior Leaders Regiment Royal Artillery from Bramcote, the Sbandieratori from Florence. The tattoo Sergeant Major, RSM James Williamson, the Black Watch, Royal Highland Regiment. Under the ramparts where stand the standard bearers of the Royal British Legion Scotland. To the Royal Artillery Regimental March, the Guard, found by the Junior Leaders Regiment Royal Artillery, carrying swords, accompanied by their drums, move now to the front of the parade. The commander of the Guard is 17-year-old Junior Leader Richard Earn from Hay and Wye, who joined the Army just over 1 year ago. Tattoo as the tide of the Second World War imperceptibly changed. Lauder was present to hear Churchill say, "I use the words of your great minstrel, words that have given comfort and renewed strength to many a heart. Keep right on to the end of the road. Keep right on to the end." Sunset, last post, the lowering of the colors. Scotland's song of parting that belongs now to the whole world. Auld Lang Syne.
Everyone's hands across, ladies and gentlemen. Lights out.
High on the castle ramparts, the lonely figure of a piper of the Argylls, Corporal Gordon Lang, playing the regimental lights out, Fingals weeping.
Scotland, the brave!
To Scotland the brave, the gymnasts of the Junior Leaders Regiment, Royal Artillery, the Spandieratori from Florence, Scottish country dancers leave the Esplanade. The massed military bands play with no war to bite a war and leave the Esplanade. And so, as the pipes and drums return to Edinburgh Castle with the traditional march, the Black Bear, the time has come again for farewell and hasty back. With a fine harvest in the field and the chill of late summer in the midnight air, may I wish you and yours, wherever in the world you have been watching, all happiness and good health, and till we meet again at the turning of another year, good night.